Hello, good evening, students. Alright, today we move on to the next part on vectors. Okay, this is 4.3 representing vector in a Cartesian plane. Okay, we all know what's a Cartesian plane. Cartesian plane will be two axes that we actually use to draw graphs. Normally, it's represented by the y and the x-axis. Alright, so for representing vector on a Cartesian plane, alright, so there are two vectors. One is called the horizontal vector, which is represented by vector I. So I represents an horizontal vector with one unit, and J represents a vertical vector with magnitude 1 unit. Alright, so now let's say for an example, we have vector A, B. Vector AB is drawn connecting two coordinates 1, 2 and 4, 6. Alright, okay, so 1, 2, just a rough sketch, and this is 4, 6. Okay, so I want to see, or I want to rewrite vector AB using the I and the J vector. Alright, so vector, as we have seen before, is a combination. So if this is my resultant, it's actually a combination of two vectors. Alright, so let's say from here to here, now this will be 3 units, 4 and 1, 4 minus 1, so this is 3. This is 2 up to 6, so this will be about 4. Okay, that means vector AB. Alright, okay, before that, since I and J are two vectors, I representing the horizontal vector, J will be vectors in the vertical vectors, horizontal vectors and vertical vectors. Okay, now these vectors can be written in the form of xi plus yj. So this is one way of writing, where x and y are actually the magnitudes of these moving vectors. Or it can also be written in the form of a column vector x, y. Okay, all right, so AB is moving from here to here. So we're going to go from A. Let's say I add in one coordinate C. So A to C, that is 3 units, plus C to B. Okay, so A to C is 3, C to B is 4. So if let's say I want to write it in this form, it will be 3i plus 4j. Okay, so this will be vector represented in a Cartesian plane, or this can be written as 3, 4. Okay, in the form of a column vector. All right, okay, so this is how, so it's either this or this. We pick any one of the method of writing. Okay, that's the first part on how to represent. Okay, now we move on to find the magnitude of this vector. Now, since we have derived this, I'm going to use this as an example. So magnitude will be, we want to know how long the vector is. So now if you notice, this is my resultant, one vector here, one vector here. So actually they intersect at 90 degrees. So if you look at this, this is actually a right angle triangle. So we can actually use the concept of Pythagoras, a Pythagoras rule, to find the magnitude of AB. Now magnitude is this modulus AB. That means we are looking at the magnitude of vector AB. Yeah? So if you're going to use Pythagoras, it's just 3 squared plus 4 squared. So it's going to be a square root 3 squared plus 4 squared. So this is 9 and 16, 25. So we actually get 5 units. Means the length of this vector, the magnitude of it is actually 5 units. Okay, so there are two things here. Number one, we need to know how to represent a vector in a Cartesian plane. Number two, on how to find the magnitude. Okay, using this and using this, we move on to the next part, whereby you need to determine something called a unit vector. Okay, the word unit itself tells you what? One. Unit means one. So that means what you're looking for is a portion. This was AB just now. Now, this vector AB is actually 5 units. That was what we calculated previously. So now, a unit of this vector, that means one portion of the entire vector, can be represented if, okay, now this is the symbol. They're using R, so it's a R and then there's a cap to it. Okay, so when you see this one means a unit vector, one unit of the particular vector. So that means if I'm looking for AB, so all I need is, okay, if you are looking at vector R, this is your R with respect to I and J, and this is your magnitude. Okay, so this is how it is. So that means now if I'm looking, let's say I denote this vector AB as, let's say since we are using R, so I call this R lah. So it become R, okay, equals to xi plus yj. Just now we got AB was, this is my vector R. So now AB is actually 3i plus 4j previously. And the magnitude of AB, as we found earlier, is actually 5. Alright? Okay. So what I'm going to do now is, this is my R, xi plus yj. So this is 3i plus 4j over, okay, magnitude of this vector. The magnitude that we got is actually 5. So that means my unit vector of AB is actually 3 over 5i plus 4 over 5j. Okay? Alright. So a small recap. We did this first. A, representing a vector on a Cartesian plane. Number 2, found the magnitude of the vector. And the third one is on how to represent a unit vector. So by using this formula. Okay, so it's a very simple concept. There are 3 concepts here. So what I'd like you to do is, for your work, please complete skill practice 15, skill practice 16, and skill practice 17. Okay, that will be your. Thank you.